It's taken some thought for me to figure out how to describe just the type of person that I am. And I thought that the best way that I could do this would be to take you back in time to when I was just 6 years old. It was a glorious cool autumn day when I was playing outside of my forest-covered home in Muskoka. The cool, crisp smell of a new season was tingling my senses as the scarlet-kissed leaves flew and fell all about me. The crunch of each step drew my eyes to the ground. As I looked to the side of my driveway at the mounting pile of vibrant foliage, I saw to my right a quivering, lonely, abandoned, juicy fruit wrapper. "Oh, the poor thing," I said, "it's quivering in the cold." I rushed over to that poor, forsaken, juicy fruit wrapper and I placed it gently in the palm of my hand, focusing all my love and compassion down into the juicy fruit wrapper to make it more comfortable and happy. It's an interesting thing what children can do, so naturally. I had this strange notion back then that this tiny little piece of paper was alive, that everything was alive, and that if I could focus enough compassion and love from my heart towards something, even a juicy fruit wrapper, that I could make the world a better place somehow. So that's how the many choices in my life went on. Choices that encompassed health and happiness, love and compassion. Choices that would bring me into the medical profession, an atmosphere I got to see through the eyes of a patient as I would often visit hospitals because of my childhood asthma. I remember watching the many devoted and compassionate fellow healers with keen interest, and I would eventually find my way through school, first as a radiology technologist, and then as an ultrasound technologist. I was so in my element when I was at school. Anatomy, pathology, physiology, they were as easy for me to understand as breathing was. And I always enjoyed watching the perplexed faces of my ultrasound patients as they would strain their gaze on the screen, desperately trying to make out something other than a moon crater. "Oh no," I would say, "that's not a moon crater. That's your aorta. And over here is your pancreas, the head, the body, and the tail." When you do something you love, it doesn't feel like work. I loved providing information a surgeon would need to make his patient well again. Or seeing the joy on a new mother's face when she would witness the heartbeat of her unborn child for the first time. I was also blessed during these years with a wonderful husband and 2 healthy children of my own, a daughter, and then 3 years later, a son. When my son was about 1, I was approached by a veterinarian friend who asked me if I would do an ultrasound on one of her patients, a sick, sweet cat. I adore animals, so there was no way I could say no, and the next thing I knew, I was heading back to school to learn the ins and outs of veterinary ultrasound. I quickly decided to start my own ultrasound business, and I ran a mobile ultrasound service for all veterinarians in Northern Ontario. It was the most rewarding work I had ever done. I had no plans to change my direction in life yet again, but things change. My core values of helping others to get well would be challenged beyond anything I could imagine. My 7-year-old daughter became sick. Not with the type of sick that could be healed with a gentle mother's touch or a warm bowl of chicken soup. But it was the type of sick that was a death sentence before the invention of insulin. The type of sick that would require painful pricks of needles and lancets every day for the rest of her life, for she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, a disease that has no cure, yet. Well, I can't likely tell you the toll that this took on me mentally. There had to be a way for me to make her better. It's how I'm wired. I was willing to turn over every stone to find that way and learn every natural healing modality I could get my hands on. Voice bioanalysis, spiritual psychology, reflexology, energy healing. The medical establishment had no viable options for me, so I was willing to find one on my own. Unbeknownst to me, I was changing my direction in life once again. Still with the same core values, but my title was different. I was now a wellness facilitator. It was never my intention to stop doing ultrasound, but I needed to be home now to take care of my daughter, as I was doing the job of her pancreas. that lumpy, elongated gland I had pointed out to my many patients over the years on the ultrasound screen. I like to think that as far as pancreases go, I'm somewhat more attractive than your average pancreas. I'm definitely a pancreas, all the same. The next thing I began to study was the nature of the body. Not just the physical components this time, but the very essence of our atoms. About Albert Einstein's theory of relativity discovered back in 1905, stating that everything in the universe was made of energy. E equals mc squared. Our bodies, the trees, and even my little juicy fruit wrapper. This knowledge hit me one morning with a clarity I had never known before. A clarity that would set me on my next journey in life, writing. I use writing as a way to make sense of the new revelations happening in my life, and I now see a way I can share my intentions to find a cure for my daughter using the principles of the universe. If I could raise awareness and money at the same time, send my own energy out around the world like one giant juicy fruit wrapper, then perhaps I could make a difference. Not just for us, but for the 246 million families who live with type 1 diabetes every day. So, I am now a writer, and my book is called A Cure for Emma. I am now a writer who wants to share my healing purpose in life with my words. A writer, a wellness facilitator, a wife and a mother who believes, truly believes in the day that I will no longer need to be pancreas. Thank you.